Hi there. We're going to do a quick mystery tackle box versus lucky tackle box. Everybody calls things a challenge nowadays, so I don't know if this is a challenge. Got both of them here. So my dad and I have been fascinated by this mystery tackle box, lucky tackle box phenomena, I guess you could call it. So typically, I'm in the business world. Men aren't as susceptible to multi-level marketing type products, but we seem to be really into these pay a monthly fee and get cool stuff type business models. And I've seen a few of these videos, but we're new to both of these. So we have both of them here, and this is the Mystery Tackle Box Pro Box. And by the way, this is Laurel. So we are going with a little bit higher price point on these, but to see what we get. So this is the first lucky tackle box that we've gotten, and this is the second mystery tackle box. So I'm going to withhold opinion on some of these things until we open it. But the first mystery tackle box, so we live in Knoxville, Tennessee, and we fish a lot for smallmouth. And some of the really big lures that people like to throw don't work as well here. And smallmouth bass obviously like a little more finesse approach, but also even the largemouth here tend to like a little more of a finesse approach. So some of the things we got in Mystery Tackle Box our first time may be a little bit bigger than what we would normally throw. That's not to say it won't work, but we will go through and see what we have. And I am filming this on top of my fire pit that my son colored with sidewalk chalk. So if things get a little dusty, that's why I didn't come that way. The fire pit's propane is off, so we shouldn't accidentally set any boxes or lures on fire. So I'll go ahead and start opening and see what you think. Alright, so we will start with the lucky tackle box. That was my phone, there's no whippoorwills that live that close. So right away I like the wrapping in here. It's like it's a little present. So we got some coupons for some shirts, hats. I actually like that Camp Lucky shirt there. So a plastic Mr. Twister, and this is a 5-inch Phenom. Maybe that's the color, but it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in here. So yeah, it's a 6-pack. So I don't know if you would call this a sample pack, but it's not like a 10-pack or anything. And there is probably the kicker of this box is a Live Target threadfin shad, and I've never had a Live Target bait. Well, frogs, but not a crankbait. So that looks pretty cool. So it looks like a pretty good depth for this time of the year. So I don't know if they base the boxes on the time of year, but as the bass start to move out to a little bit deeper water, kind of that mid-range, secondary point type fishing, that might be good. And then a Lunker Hunt jerkbait. I don't know what color this one is. It says Seasick, so I guess it's the color of vomit. Not really. I don't know what color you vomit when you get seasick, so don't judge me. So good looking jerkbait. Got some good rattle to it. And then a pretty good looking sticker. This is the golden ticket. So we have a winning number there, so I guess we can go enter a drawing. I said I don't know a whole lot about this, so maybe we just won something huge and this video is irrelevant when I'm multi-rich or something. And then looks like this is a 30% off coupon on Amazon, actually, which we love Amazon. So then we've got some Strike King Rage Swimmers 3 3/4 inch. That's a good size for here. So some of you, if you're watching from Texas or Florida, and I talk like I have a ton of subscribers, and I don't. But one day, if you're watching this from Texas or Florida or Louisiana, you might say, that's tiny. Well, that's a pretty good size for here, typically. And then this is Riot Baits. So we shop a lot at Bass Pro and Academy and those kind of places. So some of these brands we've never heard of, but these are pretty small. And it doesn't say this, but I imagine that is a jig trailer. You might be able to put that on a Ned Rig jig head, but it would be a good jig trailer nonetheless. And I don't know if it has any scent to it. A little bit, but we could always put some attractant on there. It smells more like just plastic to me, but I'm not a bass either. And then, oh, I actually got a fly tying vise, and I wanted to start making some of these treble hooks with some flash on it. So it's got some flash and some white. I don't know if bucktail or feather. I'm not real knowledgeable about it just yet. But I imagine putting that on the back of a whopper plopper may help with some short strike issues. Looks really good as mustad. And then we've got it's a Castaic swim bait. So Castaic makes really good swim baits. And this has the no-throw sliding hooks. There's a magnet in here that holds the hook in place. So when you tie on, the bait will slide away from the hook when you catch a fish. I say win with a lot of positivity there. But that's a pretty good size for here. I'm not really a good swim bait fisherman. We bought a lot of these, and I don't know if I've caught a fish on a swim bait that looks this lifelike. It seems like I catch more fish on stuff that looks less lifelike, and I don't know why. And then we've got this is, I guess, to clean your hands. It said it smells like cedar, and it's flushable. So, oh, it's a clean tush, and not your hands. I guess you could use it on your hands, but might be something good to keep in the boat. And then a Fish Hound magazine, the biggest little book on fishing. So luckily my dad is a subscriber to Bass University and Bassmasters, so we get all that information. But it looks like some pretty good stuff in here. Information about underspins, the ratio. It looks like there's some stuff in here that matches up with what we've got. So they didn't send any underspin jig heads, but they did send the swim baits. We have plenty of underspin jig heads. It talks a little about who's using these things. Oh, and there's like a little brag board thing here, I guess, on people who've caught things in Lucky Tackle Box. And this guy's Rodney Breeding is from Dayton, Tennessee. I imagine he fishes Chickamauga down there, which is where the Tennessee Sharks live. So that is the Lucky Tackle Box. I will put this over to the side and open up the Mystery Tackle Box. So I don't know a whole lot about either company. I think Lucky Tackle Box came first because L comes before M in the alphabet. I'm not sure if that's accurate or not, so I don't take my word for it. But, so I guess we're supposed to take a picture of a fish here, showing how big it is, and submit it on social media to Mystery Tackle Box. Something about Mystery Tackle Box I do like is their marketing. KVD, Kevin Von Dribble, his name might be in here somewhere. Anyways, I thought that was really good marketing. So I went to college for marketing, so I appreciate good marketing. But anyway, so this is Catch Company. Now, I've never heard of Catch Company, but this is a good looking crankbait. It has a body like a shad rat, but the bill almost like a jerkbait. So I don't know if you rip this through the water. It says near weed lines, shallow cover. It says the hunch is a shallow water beast, so I guess it's made to run shallow. I don't know if it floats or not. I imagine that it does since it says shallow water. But for here, this time of year, this should be pretty good. I don't know about the color. It looks more like a summer kind of color, but in the fall when the fish are chasing shad, that might still work. I don't know. I'm hearing less and less about color really mattering. And depending on the lake around here, it could be so muddy that they're looking more for the sound and the profile than the color. So I haven't heard of this brand either. It's a Sledgehammer jig, and it looks like it's got almost like an Arky, or almost like a halfway Arky, halfway swim jig head on it, and it comes with 2 toothpicks. Not sure why. It says equipped with super beefy no flex bend hook, made for heavy line and monster fish. So, it has a hole in the part of the jig head, and you put a piece of that toothpick through the trailer to keep the trailer on. And it does say swim jig on it. I have actually had, now I think it was a gar, short struck me on a chatterbait and tore off a couple of my Keitech swim bait tails, which I wasn't real happy about. Won't keep it from tearing tail off, but we'll keep the swim bait on there. I'll keep it pushed up on the hook where it swims right. That'll be good. So there's a card in here how to fish these baits, how to rig, ideal conditions, and I guess it's directing you to their YouTube channel, which I have watched a little bit with Lake Fort Guy on there. And I will say this, when he fishes on there, he's always fishing like these little ponds in Texas, or these little lakes in Texas that are chuck full of bass laying on top of each other, and they're starving apparently because everything he throws out there catches a fish. It's not how it works here. So what's inside? It gives you a price list here. So I won't go through this yet because I want to show what else is in here. So we got a pack of treble hooks, and that one went right through the plastic and got me, so we know they're sharp. These are mustads, which is KVD Elite Series, and I have seen some things about these online. I think a little bit of a different kind of gap there that's supposed to have a better hookup ratio. Now, I don't know. Some baits are made to catch fish, some baits are made to catch fishermen, so I don't know about that, but we can switch those out to some crankbaits. And here is, I imagine this is kind of the kicker in this box, is a Lunker Hunt Poppin' Frog. My dad was nice enough to get me one of these a few weeks ago, and I took it to Tennessee River, Fort Loudon here, and I just threw it out there away from cover on open water and actually caught a fish on it. I was really impressed. It wasn't in grass or necessarily next to a tree, so having another one of these around will be good. I don't know about that color. We have a pond out front. It's a koi pond, and the frogs out there look nothing like that, but who knows. And then these are some V&M that says super scented. It says J-Bug. Oh yeah, they smell like fish that's been dead for 4 days out in the sun. So everybody's making these bug type lures now. I don't know if Biffle actually created the Biffle bug and everybody's copied him, but I'll get one out so you can see it. It looks a lot like a Biffle bug. It's basically a beaver type body with a bunch of different little plastic appendages coming off of it. I'm guessing underwater that looks like a crawdad swimming along. That's a good color for here, watermelon red. The reason I say that is Cherokee and Norris, and sometimes Douglas, the water's really clear, so that more natural color is good. Probably could put some chartreuse on there a little bit if you wanted to. And then we've got this large live target gizzard shad. I don't know about this one for around here. I mean, I'll throw it and see what happens. As I said with Lucky Tackle Box, I haven't had a whole lot of luck with lures that look exactly like fish. I may just be throwing them wrong, I'm not sure. But it's a good color. It's a gizzard shad, which we have a lot of around here, so I don't know if that's why we received that color. But I'll definitely give it a shot. It says this is a 4.5 inch, and it's 1 ounce. So retrieve, it's a medium slow sink, so probably shallow water. I definitely could see trying to throw that around some trees. It looks like the fin up here may actually act as kind of a weed guard of sorts. Trying to throw that on some trees on the Tennessee River. And then we've got a Lunker Hunt popper. So this is called the Kraken popper. And I actually did watch a video of Mr. Tackle Box recently, and they were throwing one of these. And I think that might be kind of the video I'm referring to with Lakeport guy catching fish as soon as it touches the water. I love throwing top water. I haven't done enough of it until I got into throwing whopper floppers, but that big feathered tail and the way that this is shaped, I guess it looks like a frog color to me. It's called Color Eruption. They don't name lures after what they're supposed to mimic anymore, but it looks really good. And top water should be turning on here pretty soon. So and this is the magazine Dibble Digest Why Throw Poppers Dock Fishing 101. So why tungsten, 3 baits to imitate, match the hatch, etc. So, and there's old KVD, and he's got a hook in his mouth. Looks like he's had a rough day on the water. So it also goes through and talks to you about how to fish the lure. So why throw poppers, and dock fishing 101, which if you're ever wondering what the first thing for dock fishing is don't throw your lure into somebody else's boat with, especially like a treble hook. They don't appreciate that. And then also why tungsten and match the hatch the gizzard shad. So I know that gizzard shads are around a lot of places, so maybe this is not necessarily for East Tennessee, but I know we have them here too. And then I have some cool swag on the back here. So you know, between the two of them, it looks pretty similar in lures as far as quantity goes. That's a weird color Lunker Hunt frog. I probably wouldn't have bought that color, but I don't know. They both had treble hooks. The Lucky Tackle Box have a top water. Both had swim baits. Lucky Tackle Box wants to make sure you're This one, Lucky Tackle Box, had 2 swim baits in it. They both have a shallow running crankbait. Lucky Tackle Box had a big live target bait. I think Lucky Tackle Box may give you more mainstream stuff. Like, I've heard of Mr. Twister. So around here, Mr. Twister grubs on a handful of different rivers will catch as many white bass and crappie as you ever want to catch. So I know that brand. Obviously I know Live Target, Lunker Hunt. I don't know what Riot Baits is. Strike King, everybody knows Strike King. Mustad, obviously. Castaic, a little lesser known brand, but I definitely know about Castaic. It's not a cheap swim bait. So nothing against Storm and those kind of swim baits, but I've had the eyes fall out and that kind of thing. I'll be curious to see how that one does. So we've also got 2 Lunker Hunts over here. I don't know who Catch Company is. It's a good looking crankbait. Maybe in other areas of the country. It says it's out of Chicago. Maybe in other areas of the country it's real big. V&M's been around forever. I think V&M was like the parent company of Zoom. Or maybe they spun off from each other or something. I don't know what this jig feels like. I've never heard of that brand, but 3/8 ounce should be pretty good. Like a medium depth swim jig. And then of course Live Target here. So I think it's a matter of just brands. Like, I think they're sending you almost the same stuff, but I feel like Lucky Tackle Box did have more stuff. So it says here that this one has a value of, what does it say the total value? But I know they say you get about $30, $40 in value. This is the Pro Box. It's normally $25 a month. You can get $10 off your first month if you use a variety of codes out there that people have. This says it's by Catch Company, so maybe Catch Company owns Mystery Tackle Box, and they just make sure they put a little bit of their stuff in every box. Maybe they started making lures after the Mystery Tackle Box thing here. Lucky Tackle Box, though, my dad's sitting right over there. How much was Lucky Tackle Box a month?
$25.
So they're both $25. So, and kind of a synopsis of both. Yeah, I think it's a decent deal. You know, if you don't have a whole ton of tackle lying around, which some other videos that you probably haven't seen because I haven't edited yet, you'll see in the boat there's tons of rods, tons of tackle. I've been fishing since I could walk. My dad over there's been fishing for years, and we've collected and collected and collected. But we do get in ruts sometimes. We throw the same stuff all the time. So just looking out here, there's some stuff we normally wouldn't throw. So maybe if we get on a lake and we're not catching anything on our normal stuff, maybe this is a good opportunity to go to one of these baits that we wouldn't normally throw and try to catch some fish that maybe we weren't catching before. So I don't know, but if you don't have a whole lot of tackle, one of these would definitely be a good place to start, because you're going to get a variety of things, and it looks like they base it on the time of year, because a crankbait with a bill that's that straight out is going to run decently deep, but the shape of that crankbait is a little fatter. It's not going to run quite as deep as like a Shad Rap or like a Strike King 6XD. This is probably, you know, like a 6 to 10 foot deep crankbait. So seems like they're both a pretty good deal. I like Mystery Tackle Box marketing better. I like Lucky Tackle Box amount of stuff and name brands that I know of better. Looking at both of them instead of looking at the camera, which I'm sure is like bad etiquette, but just trying to take it in. So if you have any comments on it, if you prefer one or the other, you know, let me know why, because we're not going to keep buying both, so we're just going to go to one, and maybe one day we switch it up and go to the other one and just see what happens. But both of them seem to be good companies, and like I said, I think if you don't have a whole lot of stuff, this is a good place to start, because it's a little overwhelming when you walk into a Bass Pro or an Academy or even a Dick's, and you're looking at all the stuff and you don't know what to buy. And obviously they're not sending you rods, but you know, it seems like a lot of this stuff could be thrown. Nothing's so big. Like, this is probably the biggest bait. Nothing's so big that it couldn't be thrown on a medium action, medium heavy spinning rod. So most beginners should be able to throw these kind of things. The Frog, you might want a little bigger rod, but if you don't have one, you can still make it work. So thanks for watching. So you stayed after the say it after the outro there. I did want to say something else about frogs. And maybe somebody, one day when I'm famous and a lot of people watch this video, they can tell me this. Why does at the bottom of all frogs look the same? That's what the fish sees, right? So does it matter if those frogs are blue? I don't know. Tell me.